Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, hello, assalamu alaikum to all viewers. Welcome again to E-Table Talk with Sarah, Season 2, a series of panel discussions where we aim to raise awareness on burnt-out working adults. Yeah. So actually today, it's very interesting. I have two panelists joining me today, which is Wei Wen. Wei Wen Lim is a communications and PR specialist from a major oil and gas sector. And we also have Perpetua Malianga, originally from Zimbabwe, but stationed currently in Cape Town, South Africa. Yeah.
Yep.
And Pepe is an executive coach and executive and business coach. Yeah. And also life coach at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Lovely. So welcome on board, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll start off with a round of, Wei Wen, maybe we can start off with you. What do you do currently? What's your current focus?
Okay, whenever people ask me what I do, I'd like to give very layman terms. So I tell them that my main job is to make my company looks good.
Aha, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So how I do that is I make sure that the messages, the narratives are communicated accurately to the public. And I do this by leveraging on the press. So it could be from multiple channels, be it from a formal press conference or a media interview, or it could be from a social media point of view. But the ultimate objective is to make sure that what my company wishes to communicate to the public is communicated as such, and to basically manage the reputation of the public through the media.
I see.
So,
I
so that
see.
that yeah.
That's so interesting. So managing so how's it been for you? I mean, managing the brand reputation, yeah, of the major oil and gas company that you're in. Um,
Yep. So I think I've always find that what's really interesting about the line of what I do is it's never boring because it's never the same. So for example, right now we're going through some really challenging times with the COVID-19 situation, as well as with a very fluctuating or challenging market for the oil and gas sector. So all of that is very challenging for everyone. So when things like that happen, especially, for example, in a country like Malaysia, oil and gas is major, right? It's one of our main exports, one of our main driver for economy. So when the oil price hit, it is a concern, not just for the people in the industry, it's for the people throughout the country. And so everybody is worried, like, okay, now, how is Malaysia doing? Like, how much is the impact? And coupled with COVID, so everybody is in a very anxious scenario. So for people like the comms and PR practitioners like us, we receive inquiries from the press all the time. So we receive questions like, are you guys doing okay? Like, how okay is okay, right? So of course, from our side, we will try to assure that, hey, this is the current situation. So it's always a balance between trying to be transparent and at the same time to communicate what is sufficient to manage the perception of the people. So we want a really good balance here. We don't want to paint a picture of flowers and roses. I believe in the past, perhaps that has been the strategy. The lesser you tell, the better, right? Conservative. But I think today, the public are much more educated. They want to know the truth. They want to be transparent. But of course, transparency doesn't always, jives well with the management as well, because sometimes they don't want to reveal so much because of, afraid of certain outcomes that might happen to the market, to the people. So there's always a tricky part of striking a very good balance, to be transparent and at the same time to relay information that's just sufficient for the advantage of everyone. So yeah.
Agree.
Wow.
No, I completely resonate with that because that's something that I practice not only now, from last time. and it brings, and it also relates to, how you deal with your children. I don't
Mm,
like, I for one don't like to lie to them. I tell them
mm,
the truths about life and what it is,
mm,
because in school they are not taught of such subjects. And then when
mm,
they grow big, similar like us, when we grow big, we start entering the corporate world and say, what is going on? It's so
mm.
what's happening
True.
here? And we get shocked and we go into depression. But thanks, Wei Wei,
Mm.
for sharing that. I think it's crucial for us to be as transparent as possible with the strike of a balance, to keep people sane at the same time. Yeah. What about you,
yep.
Pepe? What's your, the last we met was 5 years ago,
Yeah.
when we were in the same office. That was good times. We were both pregnant at one
Yes.
point together.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, what do you do now? What's your current focus?
So yes, Sarah, now I'm now like in my passion in terms of working with people directly like you mentioned, I'm an executive coach. So I work with professionals, mainly, us the middle-aged, where you've got so many hats that you wear. You have to be a mother, you have to be a boss, you've got so many things that you need to do at the same time and to achieve that. So when I'm on the executive side, it's more about your business, what's going on at work, your targets, your work commitment, balancing out that. And then I also look into the aspect of life coaching where, okay, yes, you're the director of ABCD. Let's come back home. You're a mother, you're a father, you're a sister, you're an aunt. What's going on? How are you balancing that act as well? And then so when it comes to business, so there are other people who work corporate and are also doing business. So maybe you've got with now COVID, you're working, you're also having a side business. Let's look at your business. What are your goals? Why have you started this business? Where are you at? We also look into that. So there's a mentorship that comes in as well in the business aspect. Myself as an entrepreneur, my experiences working with other people, putting it all together. And there was a time I went back home in Zimbabwe, and I co-authored what we call the Clean Wealth Creation Life Skills. So it's now looking at the morals as an individual. As much as there's company values, what are your values? Are you in line with the company values? Are you in line with your values? So we look into that as well in terms of now in the aspect of your company, in the aspect of the environment you're living in, are you also living your values and the company values at the end of the day? So it's more of, the inner person. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, beautiful, Pepe. Beautiful. I think coaches are crucial in any executive's life, because most of the time, a major factor that causes stress, causes
Yeah.
depressions amongst working adults is that they are alone. uh,
Mm.
there are very little avenue to vent. Um, if you go to your family, they start judging you, and they get
Mm.
worried what's going to happen to your job, because that you are facing problems. And if you go to your partners, they not necessarily understand. And you're lucky to have a partner to support you, but some
Mm.
of us don't. And if you speak to your friends, um, amongst our own very friends and colleagues, there are those real backstabbers, and
Mm.
any information that you share with them could leak, to
Mm,
other parties.
The
So
whole world.
it's yeah. So I think being a coach is a good step you're taking there, and that you're focusing on. A lot of executives needs life coaches to keep them sane, from the CEO, top CEO, right down. Definitely.
Mm, mm, mm.
So, ladies, from when have you been working from home?
okay, I think for myself, I've been working from home since late March, late
Wow.
March slash early April, actually. And if I may share my experience, I think in the beginning it was very daunting. It was really tough at first,
Mm,
because I think being quite an extrovert and outgoing person myself, I felt really trapped. I felt like there's so much limitation in terms of space, who I can connect with. At one point, especially when things just started, it was much stricter here in Malaysia. So when the movement control order happened, only the head of the family can go out to purchase like necessities, and the rest of you are just supposed to stay at home. And you're not supposed to go out and eat, etc. So I remember finding joy with the simple act of bringing down my garbage to the garbage disposal downstairs, because I live in an apartment. I just feel happy that I get to walk out. And when I saw my neighbors,
Yeah.
I was so happy. I was like, hey, how are you doing? Like with the social
Yeah.
distance. So I could feel that he was really happy as well to see me. So it was quite tough at first. Yeah, but I think what helped is developing new routines. You know, like over time, you kind of figure out what works for you. So you start to have your own routines at home, and over time that helps. So I think things are much better now
Um,
compared to when we first started.
I'm glad.
Sure.
I'm glad, and I'm sure a
Mhm.
lot of our viewers can resonate to that as well. Yeah, going to throwing your rubbish at the garbage bin is a big joy. It's like traveling, eh? It is. I'm with you, Wei Wen. Pepe, how since
Um,
when? Yeah.
well, for me, it's actually been since 2018. I've been working
Mm.
from home. So when this whole COVID issue came through, I was like, welcome, guys. This is how we do things. Get used to it. So yeah, I started in 2018, and so it's been it has been okay for me, because I'd already been in the routine, so I kind of knew what to do, how to do it. But obviously now, because there were more restrictions, I couldn't do exactly all that I wanted to do. But being who I am, I was enjoying the space of just being at home, because it's flexible. I get to do what I want and when I want to do it. No one really has to control me. And so the COVID thing also gave in that thing of, we're all now starting from the start. We're all going back to the starting point. So wherever you were, calm down, because you find a lot of people are now stressed with the whole world at large, actually, like what's going on. So that whole COVID, as much as it was a disadvantage, it also had its positiveness, in that we're all kind of starting all over. So if you're stuck, you're kind of starting again, and presenting yourself out there. So yeah, it's been great for me. And yeah,
Yeah. So
unbelievably like that. Yeah.
so it'll be like when COVID happens, like whatever.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Well, I'm
Welcome to
sad
my
it's COVID, but
welcome to my
that's how
world.
I've been. Yes, yeah, that's my world, exactly.
Just last year when
That's really interesting to know, Pepe. And but I also just want to share that there is a difference between working from home versus working at home during a crisis.
Yeah. Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So I
mm.
think
Yeah,
working from home, yeah, like you said, maybe in 2018 you have the flexibility, right? Maybe you can park
mm,
yourself in a nice cafe, or you can
mm,
plan your
mm,
time
mm,
here and there without the real restrictions outside. But I think when COVID hit, it's more like everyone is suddenly just being put into a entirely new situation, and you are supposed to work at home during a crisis. And for me, because I'm single, I feel that I can still manage relatively well. But when I see my colleagues who have children, because children are also not supposed to go to school,
mm,
right?
mm,
So
mm,
suddenly
mm,
all of them are at home, and the parents have to decide, like, okay, how now do I manage their timetable, their school timetable? Because the teachers at first were at loss as well. They are not sure how to teach,
mm,
via online. So a lot of the responsibilities falls on parents. And at the same time, if you happen to be a family who live with who are also caring for your elder parents, that is just triple. You have to take care of your younger
That's true.
ones, and then you have to take care of your seniors. So I think the stress level for some of my colleagues are really through the walls. I
Mm,
really
mm,
feel
mm,
for
mm.
them.
that
Yeah.
that's true to the core, Wei Wen. Yeah, when I came back last year in November, um, actually last year itself when I tried back the corporate stint, it's a long story, but go there. I used to wish how I wish I can work from home. You know, I don't have to deal with the corporate politics. I don't have to deal with the toxic um, boss and colleagues that exist in the workplace. And I used to wish that a lot. I didn't foresee at all that happening at the time, but now that I'm in it, yeah, it's a different ball game altogether, especially if you have children. Oh my goodness, that's a different level of stress, because you're interrupted all the time.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Now, yeah, maybe you can delve deeper into, just what are your thoughts about the productivity of working from home? I mean, in general.
I think for me, because in 2018, when I decided to work from home, it was a choice that I had to make. So I had to make it work. So already from the onset, I was like, okay, I'm going to be working from home. So I need to structure it in a way that I still see results, but being in a comfortable space. So it was a matter of self-discipline to say, what are my waking hours? How am I going to do this? And, being at home, it's mentally you're supposed to be relaxed at home, but now you're saying to yourself you have to be working at home. So it's also a mental thing that you need to adjust to say, as much as I'm at home, I need to have time for work at home and then time for home issues, if I'll put it that way.
Mm.
So it has been, I guess in the beginning it was tough, but then by the time COVID hit, I'd already got into the routine of, okay, this is how it is at home. You've got kids to take care of, you've got yourself to take care of, you've got husband or whoever you stay with, you need to now balance it out. So for me, because I love flexibility, I was enjoying being at home. I don't like this 8 to 5. Even if you're done at 3, you have to wait till 5 o'clock to go home. I was like, no, I want that flexibility. Mm.
For myself, in terms of productivity, I felt that in the beginning, there was a lot of adjustment, especially, we are talking about a company who are so used to doing things the traditional way, right? They are so used to their own systems in place, their process, the meetings, endless meetings and all that. And then suddenly now everybody just have to be at home. So there was a lot of adjustments in terms of when you want something, you need to learn how to communicate it in a way of either a virtual meeting or through a well-structured email. Because I think a lot of times we take things for granted. When in the office, we're able to see face to face. It's just so much easier I walk over to your place and, hey, you know what, this is what I did, yada, yada. So my email is probably like, as discussed. That's pretty much it. But when we're home, that's when the adjustment really happen, because you need to be able to, say it better either through an email so that you don't keep calling your colleagues. Because at first, I think that was the stress everyone was going through. You get calls all the time because, everybody is trying to adjust to explaining things, how things should go. So I felt that was the first part of adjustment. And I think the second part of adjustment is the boundaries. I think, Pepe, you pointed out really well. Back then, when you're in the office, there is like a boundary. So once you leave office, you know that, okay, I'm out of work. If I feel like I want to open my laptop at home, that's my choice. But it's my choice. I'm not expected to do so in some way. But now that you work from home, I felt the boundaries are really blurred because you are starting at 9, say for example 9 a.m. and then after that by 9 p.m. you realize, hey, there's something that I need to do, and you figure, well, I'm at home, this is my workstation, I'll just continue, right? Like, why wait to the morning when I'm at home anyway? Like the first second day it's fine, and I think everybody kind of have that expectation that, hey, you're at home anyway, so why don't we just get it done? But I think if that prolongs, it creates stress that you at one point you don't really know why you're stressed, but you feel stressed because that same spot that you are supposed to be relaxing, suddenly now you're working all the time, and you kind of creeps on you, without you realizing that stress that, hey, I'm supposed to deliver at like the weirdest hours, and the meetings are back to back. Because back then, to get to a physical meeting, you need to have a room, etc. But now it's just check out your calendar. Hey, there's an empty slot. I'll book your time. So there are back-to-back meetings all the time as well. So I think it's just a matter of really adjusting and find what kind of like schedule works. And I think probably Pepe, you are definitely a master of that by now, because you have already started that since back then. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
so that
No, that's
Mm.
actually that's very real. I think call once I'm doing overtime. This is working from home is serious overtime.
Yeah. Mm.
You lose track of time. You can't believe it now. I'm working up till 1 o'clock in the morning, because there's so much to do. And then every day, this is what I do. Um, okay, tomorrow I'll wake up early and fresh, six
mm,
o'clock. I'll get things going. I'll end the day early as well, so that I
mm,
can get to rest at night. And never happens. Never happens. Even if you wake, even if you wake up early, and then child comes and wants this, and by the time you know it, it's already lunch hour, and then
Mm.
you start cooking. The kitchen is there, so you start cooking, and then you start sending your child to school. Then you come back. It takes a while. You feel sleepy during the day, so you tend to take naps as well in between. Sometimes it goes overboard. Then when you
Mm.
wake up, you need to get back into the um, the focus, and yeah, and
Mm. Mm.
what do you do there? All right. So how do you on this issue, on this challenge, I think a lot of us are facing. What are your tips to manage those distractions?
So for me, like we've mentioned, I've got two little, no, they're not really little, but 5 and 7. So they're very active and wants attention. So what I've done is I've we've had a discussion to say mommy's now working from home. So mommy, even if she's at home, she is at work at some point. So you get to say, this is when I'm in this space, this is my workspace, right? So what I did with them, for example, with me, we made a poster together, a stop sign. So when that poster is on the door, it means you cannot disturb mommy. Even mommy is busy, you can't, because maybe I'm on a call, during a session, I cannot afford a distraction. So they know if that poster is on the door, mommy, you can't go in. But if it's not there, they know you knock first, and yeah, if mommy says okay, come in. So it's a matter of you have to have, demarcations to say this space is for this space is for that, and have that conversation with whoever you're staying with, so that you all understand each other. So even depending with how your home is created, you need to, perhaps maybe my husband is maybe in a meeting and I need to switch on the microwave. So you need to know, okay, what time do I need to do my microwave things, or what time do I need to do my whatever, because it's going to affect where he is. So you have to really sit down and like plan to say, okay, this is the setup of my home. What would work best? And then give yourself time, be very disciplined, I'm going to work from 10 to 12. So everything that needs to be done, it has to be between 10 and 12. If it has to carry over if it doesn't finish. So you really have to say, okay, I'm going to work from this time to this time, because now if you've got family, you need to incorporate them as well, because you're at home. So it's unfair for my kids for me to work the whole day when they can see mommy's there. And because I want to accomplish whatever I need to do. So sometimes I have to sacrifice to say, you know what, this can wait. So you have to know your priorities. This can wait. This can be done. This is urgent. So prioritizing as well your time to say this time is, because you need, as much as work is important, you need time with family, you need time with husband, you need time with whatever. So it's a matter of discipline. Know what you need to do when, and structure it. So it's a planning. It's not just, okay, I'm working at home. Oh yeah, because like you said, the kitchen is right there. You can just say, oh, I'm so hungry. Let me just cook. Let me just, do this. But is it time to do that? Do you really need that or not? So it's discipline as well. So that's how I've been coping, categorizing everything, demarcations, being really precise, and yeah, discipline.
It's like back to school, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
the timetable. I think
Yes.
we should even buy the bells, like a clock, like an
Mm.
alarm clock. Pling, it's time for you to
Yes.
rest. Pling, it's time for you to go back to work. Okay, because
Mm,
yeah,
mm.
it's like
Because you can the whole night, because no one is there to stop you. The
yeah,
computer is right in front of you. So if you don't
exactly.
tell that to yourself, no one is going to tell you. And when you burn out, it's you who burns out.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think you raised two very important values, Pepe, here:
Mm.
discipline and also prioritization. And
Yes.
that's really the essence of everything, especially working from home. So the first one, self-discipline, that's something that I pretty much lack of in general, because I've always been more of a spontaneous person. So to me, it took me a while to understand that discipline means when the time is, if I decided that at 5 o'clock I want to do yoga for an hour,
Mm.
it
Mm.
doesn't matter if my work is done or not. I should pause right at 5,
Mm. Mm.
do my yoga, and then I'll continue maybe at
Yeah.
6. You
Mm.
know, yeah, because I think when it first started, when I was trying to get to the new routine, it always happened when it's 5, but my work is not done, and
Yeah.
Mm.
I can't get my frame of mind out of work. I told myself I
Exactly.
just want to finish it. Yoga
Mm.
can wait
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
because yoga is not the most urgent thing in the world, right?
Or just wait till
But
6,
guess
maybe
what?
till 7, until 8, and then you will never do it. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm.
And when that happened too often, you get really angry at yourself. You feel that
Yes. Mm.
this thing in you is like, oh my god, I felt like I said I want to do that, but I didn't do, and you get really angry, and then you
Mm.
start to get angry at work, angry at your maybe your boss. But then at the end of the day, it's important to sit down and ask yourself, like, could you have done it? Could you have just do what you want to do? And at the end of the day,
Mm.
you realize that everything is really your choice. It's a
Yes.
self
Mm.
yeah, it's whether you are consciously making the choice or not. So I think
Mm.
that is very important, discipline as well as prioritization, because like Pepe mentioned, right, you need to prioritize your family as well. So in this manner, like, yoga may seems like, it's not the most urgent thing, but is it important? It
Mm.
is. It is because the fact that we don't go out that much also means that we are constantly immobile. We don't move that much, and that's really bad long term for our health. So
Mm.
to really consciously stop and do your workout or whatever that you need to do, it's really important. It is priority. So yeah,
Mm.
so that's something that we really need to be very conscious of the decisions that we make. And also, Sarah, just to let you know, I think sometimes when you're tired during lunchtime, you take a nap, and I've come to understand that that's entirely okay. Because we are in the new routine, right? And
Mm.
if
Mm.
you were working in the office, yeah, you don't need nap time, but in the office, you don't need to set time aside to cook for your kids, to send your kids. You have other arrangements, right? But right
Mm.
now, and 1 hour lunch is no longer a 1 hour lunch at home. And 1 hour lunch means that you need to prepare, you need to cook, you need to
Yes.
feed your kids.
Mm.
It's so much more. It's no longer just a 1 hour lunch. So I feel there are also times that we need to really care for ourselves. Self-care is important. Like, if you need a break on the day, you
Mm-hmm.
need a break. And to be okay with it, as long as you still get your things done, and to have a nap, when you have to. I felt that's something that, you can incorporate in your daily routine as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
true. I agree with you because it's like you have to be honest with yourself. And when you need a break, take it. But don't think I need a break. If you get what I'm trying to say, when you need that break, take it. But don't just hide behind the finger and saying, "Oh, I need my nap," and really know you don't really need the nap. You're probably running away from a situation that is ahead of you. So yeah, being honest with yourself is good because it will catch up with you. If
Mm.
yoga motivates you or relaxes your mind and you're not doing yoga, and it means your mind is not going to be relaxed, so at some point it's going to catch up, and then what do? Like you said, you start arguing with everyone, angry with everyone, because that your mind or your body needed that, but it seems like it can wait. So yeah. Mm.
Yeah, it did get overboard yeah, when MCO was first announced, and got overwhelming at my end, that I kept on going and going, including weekends as well. Because now that when you're on your own, you're not working for any organization, you tend to panic and you tend to feel that I'm not doing this enough because I'm working for myself now. So I need to do more. I need to do more. So I was
Mm.
up till I think it was May. I
Mm.
started reflecting. Um, my body almost broke down again, like how it did a couple of years back, completely shut down for 3 weeks. And I thought to myself, no, I'm not going to go through that period anymore. So let's just see what I can do here. Now I reflected and see, when I was working corporate, I used to use the old-fashioned diary that you write a lot, and I used to use that diligently. Every single thing I write down and make sure I follow up. And that I thought was the missing element. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just trying to squeeze everything into one day, and that's a disaster. So now I've never used, I'm using the e-calendar, and I write down
Mm,
every single thing realistically what I'm going to do tomorrow, and that includes exercising. And I've also blocked out Saturday, Sundays is fully rest days, because I need
mm,
to be fresh in the on Monday morning. If not, things will crumble again.
True.
Yeah. So, let's talk about uh, digital fatigue. If we can share
mm,
about that. We are always on the computers, mobiles, and mobile addictions is real. Never mind us, amongst the very, very young adults and teenagers, is very real. How do you get over the digital fatigues? Is there any way?
okay, so for me, I think I really like the fact that you introduced me with the term digital fatigue.
Yeah.
That is very, very true. I mean, just to share a little bit of also something that's I'm doing right now is that I'm actually being a part-time student again. I'm currently pursuing my master's, and I'm actually doing my master's in counseling, right?
Wow. Okay.
Um, so for me, I always see it as, being a PR or a comms person is about managing perception of others, right? In a way, for the benefit of my company. And then it just come to me that in the long run, I can also use that skill to help others, because therapy or counseling is a lot about reframing how you see things, how your clients see challenges, how they see their strengths. But you're not doing that for the benefit of anybody. You're doing for the benefit of your clients themselves. So I thought that is something that I want to pursue. And I can tell you, being in this generation, studying as a student is so much different when I was studying back then in my undergraduate times. Back then, despite, yes, there are still digital devices and all, but it's not as convenient as right now, So right now with your smartphone, I may be studying like the first chapter. It is really hard to get through from the first page to the last page of the chapter without looking at my phone. You don't actually need to see it. The thing is, you don't there's nothing to see.
It's just
There's nothing to
habit.
refresh.
Habit.
It's just a habit. You are absolutely right. Yeah, like
It's as if
who
you get
cares
money
who
out of
posts?
when you watch your mobile. Ting, you get money. You open up, It's not. Yeah.
No, it's a joke.
It is. And there are times where it's this completely pointless. Sometimes I'm just refreshing feed, like subconsciously I'm just refreshing, and then at one point it's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
We are so distracted like all the time. So that's when I realized, if I feel that way, I mean, what more the kids, the generation these days, they are born in this era of distraction. There's so much noises going out there. Like kids these days, if I go to a restaurant, they were eating on the dinner table, and you'll see an iPad in front of them. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, if this happened back when I was a kid, I think my parents would throw a fit. Like
Oh,
to them,
yes.
eating is eating. Like you should just eat. To a point, more traditional parents, you're not supposed to even talk.
Yeah.
You should just eat. Respect the process of having a meal.
Correct.
So I
Yeah.
feel, yeah, it's really very distracting. And at one point, for me, I actually told myself, tell myself I'm gonna uninstall Instagram on my phone.
Really?
Right? To me, yes.
Yeah.
So I told myself, I gave myself like 2 weeks. I'm just gonna uninstall. I mean, I didn't delete the account, but I'm uninstalling the app from my phone. I just want to test how much is it, how will that affect me? And I found out that, after 2 weeks, I don't miss it.
Right.
You realize you don't really need it, you know. It has
Mm.
always been a habit, like what you ladies pointed out. So once you realize that, hey, it's actually just a habit, all you need to do is readjust back. Of course, habit is hard to change, right? It is true. But if you realize that actually that's not a priority at all, and if you can adjust to that, then you will find better time and better habits to replace that, you know.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I
Mm.
felt a wake up call. It's important to first acknowledge that, okay, I think I'm spending too much time on
Mm.
social media, and I want
Mm.
to make a conscious decision to stop stop that. So I think that
Mm.
helped for me. uh,
True.
still struggling with it, not gonna lie. There are still times
Yeah.
that,
Mm.
but,
Mm.
but yeah, I think self-awareness is the first step.
Mm.
Yeah. You know what? I think, right, I think I'll just leave the phone in my bedroom
Mm.
upstairs because I work
Yes.
from downstairs,
Mm.
and just leave it there until lunchtime. And then lunchtime
Mm.
is where you get to
Mm.
to balas dendam, to play revenge. Just go back
Mm.
and then go and
Mm.
leave it there again and come back to work. I think I'll
Mm.
do that
Mm.
because it's getting out of hand sometimes. Because
It's
now
true.
we need to be the company that is that's running now needs to be online. So
Mm.
it needs to be, but it's not really necessary now. Um, it's really the habit. You're right. What about you?
Mm.
What about you, you, Pepe? What do you do? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with what you ladies are saying. So, for example, if it's now it's family time, it's best to leave your phone, like you said, maybe upstairs in your room or somewhere where it's there. So
Mm.
you just have to tell yourself, I'm leaving it here so that I don't have to come and get it or be tempted to see what's that's
It's so
flashing on my phone.
hard.
Yes. So if you leave, so if you leave it upstairs, okay, I don't have to go upstairs. Or, like she did, is uninstalling something, like, I want to see what happens. So it's doing that extreme to just say, you know what, it's time to do this. Or if you've got two phones, for example, you've got a business phone and a personal phone. If it's time for family, you leave the business phone away. If it's in
Yeah.
your office, you leave it there. So if you get the missed call when you get there, not because if the phone rings and you're holding it, you're going to answer it. But if you leave it there, the person will know the person is not available. So it's like really having boundaries to say, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to touch my WhatsApp, for example. So you'll be tempted. So you do things that I will not be able to do it if I leave it upstairs or if I leave it in the office or if I whatever. So it's a matter of just, okay, this is no screen times, or what sometimes we do with the kids, no screens, nothing. It
Mm.
means go play outside. If think of something to do, be creative. It's the two of you, be creative, play together, no screens. So it's a matter of just saying close everything, switch off the TV, everything off, just go and be human. So yeah, I think it's just, yeah, that's what we try to do, to say, you know what, this is time for family. Know this when it's time for family. It's time for work now. This is my time now. So, but it's difficult, but it has to be done
It
at
has
some
to be
point.
done. Yeah, you're right. You're
Yes.
right.
Mm,
That
mm,
I think mobile digital addiction is very real, similar to being addicted to
mhm,
substances,
Mm.
drugs, and it's like leaving your, I don't know, leaving your, well, such a valuable thing that you are missing if that's not in your hand. It's,
mm,
over time this became such a necessity. It's like your best friend. I think it is because a lot of us are feel very lonely.
mm,
Gone with the days when we have a sparring girlfriend at our end. Now the sparring partner is our phone. So that's, I think that is quite yeah, pros and cons there.
mm.
Yeah. What do you miss about working in the office most?
I think for me, it's the chit chats, with colleagues,
Those
talking about
non-productive
work.
times, yeah.
Aish, in that meeting, how did you feel? What do you think? Those chit chats or those tea breaks or those lunch walks and, just chatting away with maybe talking nonsense really, but just chatting away. And yeah, I think that's what I say I would miss. Mm.
Hmm.
I agree with you completely, Pepe. That's what I miss too. just going over to my colleague's workstation and ask
Mm,
how's the weekend, how, how's the kids, how's the family. And, after a meeting, after the official meeting, usually there is a side meeting where we would like to
mm,
discuss what actually transpired. Um, Bouncing of ideas, bouncing
mm,
of ideas, having the real interaction. That's something that I really do miss.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
same
mean,
here.
we right now we can pick up the phone, but it's different, that there is a
Yeah.
difference.
Mm,
It's true. It's true. I miss looking at a real human being next to us. Children running around, and the other
Miss
half.
Adults.
Yeah, miss adults staring at what they're doing, and those smiles and those frowns and everything. I do miss that. I do miss that.
Mm,
That's why I make it a point, actually, once in a week. I do make it a point to meet up with either, yeah, with colleague face to face, even if it's
Mm,
just an hour of coffee. Um, that will keep us sane, I think. At least we remember how
mm,
humans look like off screen, you know.
mm.
um, which do you prefer, working from home or from the office?
I'll let Pepe answer this first.
It's a thinker. Yeah, it's
Oh,
because
okay.
yeah,
No problem. I think, to be honest, I don't mind working either.
yeah,
What do I mean by that? If it's an office environment where it's flexible, I'm allowed to go in and out anytime I feel it's time for me to do that. I don't mind working. I don't mind working in an office. And at home, I know I do have that flexibility, which I can then incorporate to say, this is time for this is time for that. So if there's an option of working from the office and have the flexibility, that would be great, because I still will have that human interaction when I need it. And when I think it's time for me to go, I can go. So yeah, so that it's like that. Mm.
I've been thinking about that for some time, because at one point there will be like you will hear like discussion that, hey, I think we're going back office next month, things like that you'll hear. Then
Mm.
of course after if the case escalate, then it's like, oh, tak jadi, not happening, working from home. So when that happens, you kind of sit and ask yourself like, do you want to go back to office, or you actually already adapted to how
Mm.
things are? That's when I realized people are masters in adapting.
yeah,
you know
Yes.
like for now, to be honest, I'm so adapted to working from home.
yeah,
I've
Mm.
developed new routines. I've developed ways to work. When I miss the human interaction, like yourself, Sarah, I will meet up with my colleagues, just offline. Hey, let's meet up, have a quick catch up. So and I also like totally enjoy the fact that I don't have to go through the traffic, the rush hour, the peak
Mm.
yes.
time, and stuff like
I
that.
don't miss
So
that.
then
Yeah,
that's when,
Yes.
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 especially in KL. Pepe is very different in Cape Town. You come to KL's traffic and experience it. Yeah. Oh,
I think it's the Zim traffic as well,
oh, is
where
it?
all lanes are like literally, even the
Yeah.
pathway,
There's no
there's
such thing as
traffic.
rules. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, when you think of that, then I start to ask myself like which I prefer. So that's when I come to realize you prefer whatever that you have adapted.
Mm.
So what I'm meaning to say is like right now I've so adapted to working from home. Let's just say it would be good that of course the COVID situation has, we have won the battle. Let's just say next year we've won the battle and we're going back to the office. And I can assure you there will be a new period of adjustment,
Mm.
because we have been so adapted with the
Now we
current
have to go
situation,
back. You're right. Yeah.
and
Mm.
now we have to go back, and it's a lot readjusting. And I felt the whole cycle of anxiousness, like it will just go back again, because but humans, we adapt. But
Mm.
I agree with Pepe as well, the fact that if I can have the best of both worlds,
Mm.
to have that flexibility, and at the same time to also be able to have that human touch. So
Mm.
we are talking about perhaps a shorter work week, because
Mm.
things like that used to be just a dream, especially for more traditional companies, right? In the
Mm.
past, if you said that, boss, I would like to work from home, your boss would probably be like, what? No, I don't know if you're going to work from home. I can't see you.
Mm.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
when
There's
that
no
happened,
trust. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Mm,
But when this happened, people realized it's doable. A lot of
mm.
things, you don't really need a physical meetings, for example. You know,
Yeah.
you can have a quick discussion over the phone and it's done, or even, you know, through an email.
Zoom. Mm,
Zoom, yeah. So I think people realize that, hey, there are great efficiency as well, even if you don't meet in the office. But of course, at the same time, there are certain things that is still better communicated face to face. So if we can, I felt we are really going in the new normal, and it will be sad that when things recover, we forget about this phase and all the things we learn. I think that would be the
mm,
saddest part if
mm,
we don't, we forget about the important lessons here. So I think what is really beneficial is when things recover, we take what we learn from this time, the lessons, and then we
mm,
apply it into
mm.
a new normal, a post-COVID normal, you know. Yeah, when that happens.
It's
So
true.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Ladies, last but not least, before we end the session, now, is it 6 out of 10 working adults goes through burnt out, depression. And
mm,
obviously that's because of either you're working with or for a boss, or your colleague next to you is very toxic. Those leads to stresses. That's working literally in the office. What are your thoughts about now, working from home? Is that still a major issue, or is it worst because of not the non-visible interaction now with your colleagues? What do you think?
for me, I've known colleagues who have gone through really, really tough times. Especially those have responsibilities for both children as well as caring for the elderly. They are in a constant stage of guilt. Like they felt that they have not done enough for both the kids and for their parents.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of guilt,
mm,
and at the same time they also feel that they are not being able to deliver as much to their bosses and stuff. So it's a stress from all fronts.
mm, mm,
Yeah. And also there are also those who feel very isolated, very lonely. Those especially who live alone, so they feel like they get into depression as well, because
Hmm.
they feel really isolated and they have no, they are not sure what to do next. So I
mm,
think different people face it differently. So I feel what help is to connect people with the professional service that are available. Like for example, in my company, we have the EAP, or the assistant employee assistant program,
Mhm.
whereby we do offer counseling services, for example. So when during normal times, people are sometimes a little bit more resistant to the idea, because they would think that, oh, if I have to go to counseling, something is wrong with me. So it is still a stigma
mm,
in the country in
Yeah.
general.
Hmm.
Even if you tell them the service is free, it's entirely paid for, it's part of a benefit, but to them it's like, that can wait. It's
mm,
always that, I have no time, that can wait. But I feel with COVID right now, the service have converted into online. I think that would help in a way that it kind of just basically reduce or remove the excuses, like you don't have time. Well, you don't need to go anywhere, you just need to log in at this time and make an appointment. And number
mm,
two, if you feel that you're not sure what to say, etc., you're new, online is really a good platform for a test run, a test drive.
Hmm.
Like, hey, maybe you are not comfortable seeing it face to face, seeing a counselor face
mm,
to face, you can try online first. So I think especially the word social distancing is actually, to me, not my favorite word, because you just make you feel like, hey, you are distancing yourself socially.
mm,
Hmm.
I felt the more appropriate term should be physical distancing, like,
mm,
Hmm.
mm,
just
mm,
because you are physically distant doesn't mean you have to be socially distant.
Socially.
You can still
mm,
keep stay connected. And I think if technology is created is for that purpose, to keep everyone connected. So I think to know the professional services out there, and also to use technology as a form of staying connected, I think that would help with the mental health challenges that people are going through.
Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm. I think I agree with you, Wei, in the sense that when you're at work, there are certain, let's say you've got a horrible boss, for example, you're facing that at work, and now maybe you're now at home, so he's away or she's away, and there's that limited interaction, which is much better. It's great like that, but hopefully now that you're at home, you are in each other's space with whoever you're staying with, because before you would all go out to your various workplaces, and then you come back maybe just to eat and sleep. So it really didn't matter because you could go out anytime. But now you're forced to be in the same place. You have those habits, those anything, it's in your face. So that could have also created another mental aspect that could come in because you're now in each other's space. So like she said, you need that support. I always say I don't help people, I support. Because when you say help, it'll seem like I've got a problem and you're helping
Yeah.
me. But when I'm supporting
Can be a
you,
negative word.
it's in a positive way to say you need that support. You need that support system. So either it's counseling, it's either coaching, it's either whatever, but you need that support at some point in your life. And now because it's online, maybe you didn't want people to see you go to the counselor's office. Oh, that's the problem one. No, but now you can do it online if that was really an issue. No one will know you had an online session with the counselor or with the coach or with whoever. So there's that aspect now that's opening up to say, even online, you can actually be productive online. Because like you said, before, if you say you're working from home, like, well, do you really work at home? But people are working at home, and online will be like, yeah, but can you really have a meeting online? We just need to meet. But people are right now, we're having a meeting online and it's working, and it's even connecting us now. It's Malaysia, Cape Town, all in one room, if I'll put it that way. So it has brought in some aspects as well that are working for us, that are working to our advantage. Yeah. Mm.
Yes, 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 definitely. Um, you guys have, you ladies have shared their tips along our conversation to stay sane, which is fine. But I'm just curious, yeah. Now, when you're at work in the office, literally, you've got your body language, you've got your eye contacts. I'm talking around the clock at when you're at the office to win your superiors. To win your superiors. Um, how you sit, how you're attentive, all those can be seen. Now it's gone. When you work from home, your boss can't see that. How do you think, what do you think? How do you think would be the next element for promotions? Um, you can be a thinker here, yeah? So now it boils down to the reports that you do, the performance, um, what you read, what you write down. What do you think? Now it's really work, isn't it? It's no more of
Mm,
you
mm, mm,
having your physical appearance. As ladies,
mm.
sometimes the more professional you wear, the more decent you look with your slight makeup and everything, the more I think you'll win the male's bosses if you have a male boss. But now, digitally,
I think it's interesting what you've mentioned, Sarah. Even I'll just give an example first of my kids. The girl, she strives more with competition, like,
mm,
what did you get? Oh, you got that wrong. I got it correct. She strives in that environment. So being at home for her was like, so what did my friend get? Did my friend get it correct or not?
oh,
It was already like she needs that, you see.
mm,
So I realized with her working from home, I mean, homeschooling won't work for her. She won't excel her best. She needs to go to school. But with my son, so it's a different story. She would just do whether, what do I need to do? I'm doing it. So I think even in the work environment, for those people who are fed by compliments, like, oh, you dressed well, oh, you spoke well, oh, you do that, it will affect in a way their performance, because they are not getting that feed that they need to stay afloat, if I would put it that way.
the attention. Mm,
Yes, the attention, some people, sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's not.
yeah.
But for some people, they need that. So it becomes a problem now, because whether I wake up right now and I do my things in my pajamas. No one really knows, no one really cares, as long as you have delivered the report. But someone feels good, they present the report, they are well dressed, they are whatever. So it means there's a lot of adjustment that needs to come in to say, I might not have that. Or you create an environment where let's have a meeting and we all dress up. You know, like literally we have a session where we all look, want to see that you have walked, you wear your meeting clothes, you know. So having those kind of meetings would also help feed for those people who need that to accomplish, so that there's a balance, because now no one sees, but of course the work needs to be done, but you need to now know your people. How am I catering for everyone to make sure they bring the best results? So do I need to have those meetings, those virtual meetings where you all, everyone is dressed up like this, and then you also have those meetings where it's casual, whatever you want to do, to also cater for those people. So as an executive, you need to now know your team very well to cater for each one, so that there's productivity either way, virtually or in person.
Mm. That's actually very, very interesting, you know. I think before you ladies brought up, I haven't really thought about it. Um, Now that you mentioned, I recall a colleague of mine who he feels a little bit sad that we are working from home, because he told me that his biggest motivation of the day is to dress up. And he is someone who known to dress really sleek and smart. You know, he's
Really,
always the best dressed
one of
person
the
in the
eye
office.
candies in the office. One of the eye candies in the office.
Yes, yes, that
Mm,
definitely. And he takes pride in, you know,
mm,
dressing with a tie clip and with a suit. He takes pride in that, because he says like a lot of people don't do that anymore, but I take
mm,
pride. So he feels really good about waking up, dressing in his best outfit and go to the office. And when people start to, I mean, when we start to work from home, he felt very lost. He felt like there's no motivation for him to go on, because he
mm,
likes
mm,
that. Like you mentioned, Pepe, you know, he's just someone who enjoys that. So I feel if I can think of something, is like what we discussed earlier, is to still have that catch up, you know, either a department catch up or a unit or a team catch up, so that
mm,
there is still opportunity for people to meet and to express themselves. Because I do realize there are times where what I meant to say didn't reach the other person as how I intended in a
Mm,
message or in an
mm,
email, you know,
mm,
because
mm,
the
always.
person
Yeah.
mm,
can't see
mm, mm.
expression.
Sometimes you're
And
too harsh
sometimes
because you're going straight to the
Yes.
point in an email, whereas this is
yeah,
no, I didn't mean it that way, you know. So
Mm,
yeah. So when that happened, that's when I realized, oh my God, I think she took it entirely the wrong way. And it's also being very mindful of, you know, like, okay, I think maybe that sounded a little bit too harsh in words, so it probably has to follow up with a call or something. So it's really about being mindful, especially to being mindful that the other person can't read your face. And I
mm,
think that's something that you know, it makes a lot of difference. So I think to have the regular catch up, you know, maybe once a week to have a Zoom call, and maybe twice a week, or even more frequent to have a face to face. I think that really help
mm,
everyone.
mm,
yeah,
mm,
no, you're right. And um, just a note on writing WhatsApp. I got into trouble with the commissioner of oath 4 weeks ago, was when I was trying to sort something out, the documents accidentally, you know, those spell checks, yeah. So I
Yeah.
mm,
accidentally
mm,
spelled his name in capital letters, and
Oh, oh, oh.
and then I sent, because I was, you know, as a woman we multitask a lot, so I was writing, I was doing something, pop, I sent, and he obviously it's wrong too, but it was an accident, and he replied very nastily, yes, a lawyer. So
Because he
I,
thought you were
mm.
shouting.
yeah, I thought he thought I was shouting because his name was in
Yes.
capital letters. And I
Mm.
said, I'm so sorry, that was a pure mistake, I didn't mean it that way at all. Yeah, but you're right, picking up the phone after
No,
that was a good
you're
job.
very right way, because now remember, you might send a message. I sent
Mhm.
a message to you and you're in a bad mood or you're in a bad space.
Yeah,
And then you read according to how you're feeling, not where
yeah,
I'm coming from. Maybe I said in a jocular way,
yeah,
but for you, because you're in a space, you're like, how can she even say this to me?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, and even those spelling checks, it writes something else differently.
Yeah,
And you're like,
and
no, that's not what I
no,
meant. Now you're busy. You know?
yeah,
Yeah,
and right
message.
there, fights starts to happen, even between your
Yes.
partners. You know, what's
Mm,
going on here? But yeah, it's digital world now.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so ladies, thank you very much again for today. Hopefully, this video will be shared among a lot of viewers, and hopefully, will keep us all sane and the community out there. And if you want, do you want to add up anything before we end the recording today?
For me, I just want to say once again that thank you, Sarah, for having this. And if it's not because of the current situation, I wouldn't have met you or Pepe. So I
Mm,
think you were right about the wonder of technology to being able
mm.
to bring people all the way from Cape Town and Malaysia. Like, if not because of this situation, I think this probably I wouldn't have even like met
No,
someone like Pepe ever.
no.
So so I feel, yep, things are challenging, but at the same time, we should not forget the good things that happen because of it, and to really learn from this experience and to take it with us, even for when things recover, to not forget about
Mm.
the things that we learn. So,
That's true. I
and I
think
would like to keep in touch with the both of you.
definitely we will. We will. I
Yes.
think we're not as shocked as we were in March. Things are getting better, but it's still there. But I think
Mm,
things will come now, especially Malaysia, when we hear the situation now. Even just around the corner in Puchong, 2 cases quite nearby my house. So I'm not sending my children to school. I'm not going to take the risk. So it's out there. We must just adapt. It's not going to end
Mm,
anytime soon. And I speak to quite a number of economists. Not in the next 2 years. And by
mm,
then there will be softwares, there will be apps, there will be devices, more tech platforms to keep us sane at home. I'm very
mm,
sure.
mm,
I'm very
mm,
sure.
mm, mm.
And Pepe?
For me, I'm so honored to be joining you ladies all the way from Malaysia.
Oh,
Like Wei said, it's so beautiful just to know that we couldn't have ever had the situation if it wasn't for COVID. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. But I'm so honored to meet you, Wei. And Sarah, we worked well together in Cape Town, and just reaching out to each other like this in a different world altogether. It's beautiful. It just shows how well we work together, I suppose. And yeah, like you said, Way, it will be sad if we don't grow from the situation. After, like, if everything goes to the new normal, it's because it's going to be a new normal again, because
true.
we have learned a lot, we have grown, and we will be now using that we've gained now to be a better person, not to be worse. So like you said, I hope we all learn something and take it with to our new norm. And yes, we never know. I mean, that's why they say it's always evolving. The world is always evolving. This is part of it. And yeah, we'll do it. And like you said, Way, humans, we adapt so
Yeah.
easily, so quickly. I was born and bred in Zimbabwe. I lived in Namibia. I'm now in South Africa. You adapt. You
We
adapt
do.
nicely. Even if I'm to go back to Zimbabwe, I will adapt as well.
We
So
do.
humans we are just created like that. But sure, thank you so
Especially when you're
much.
a mother and you're adult now. It's a do or die stage. You don't do or
Yes,
die. You know, I always
you
say
gotta make
that.
it happen.
No way you can sleep it out. Like a teenager back in those days. My mom was still there. No, no, you're on your own.
Mm.
So you have to do it.
Someone is relying on you, actually.
That's true. That's true,
Yeah.
ladies. All right. So thank you so much again for joining me today, and really appreciate your inputs. So thank you, ladies. Have a good day. Yeah.
thank you,
Thanks,
See
Sarah.
you
Sarah.
Thank you.
soon.
We'll
Thanks,
see you
Way.
later.
Sure, yes. We'll keep in touch. Mm.